So I wanted to do one last video of 2018, and I wanted to send this one out to anybody that's not only struggling with Christmas but that struggles with the prospect of New Year, because it's also a really hard time of the year. I used to really struggle with the thought of going into this large expanse of a new year that almost felt like it was walking into a black hole of what am I going to fill it with, what am I going to do, what am I doing with myself, and that was always really difficult, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that struggles with that. So I just wanted to say that that's okay. You know, it's okay to not know where you're heading. It's okay to not quite know what path that you're on. I've stumbled my way through my life. I've grasped and just pulled and clung and climbed back up to, you know, where I am, but I'm still not perfect. I still haven't got the career that I always thought that I'd get, and I don't have like this plan as such. And I used to think that that was a bad thing, but I've learned, especially this year with the mental health campaigning that I've done and the projects that I've done and the passion that I've got for that sometimes you don't find things, they find you, and you actually realise that that's what you've been looking for, but you didn't go searching for it. And so it's okay to walk into a new year and just let it be, because at the beginning of this year I wouldn't have thought that I would have written a book that's about to be published. I wouldn't have thought that I would have really started to use my passion for mental health awareness and for that to have actually made an impact and become something that I actually want to take forward. That found me almost. You know, about 8-9 years ago, around this time of the year, I remember sitting in front of the fireworks on the telly for New Year and being completely on my own with nobody, just crying and just thinking that I didn't want to live, and what was the point? I had nobody around me, I had no prospects, I had no nothing. I was just depressed, I wasn't diagnosed, and it was just all an absolute mess. And I did plan to end my own life. And I have spoken about this before, and it was a quirk of fate almost that stopped that from happening, and the reason that I'm still here. But since then, I've met the love of my life, I'm engaged, I've got a daughter, there's things that I'm now doing that I'm enjoying, there's things that have found me, that have become my passion and my goal to take forward, that I didn't necessarily go into aiming for. It kind of came to me. And I think that happens with quite a lot of people, and so sometimes it's okay to not know where you're going. And if you feel like your life's not worth living, if you feel like you can't bear another year of just drifting through a void of nothingness because you just feel empty, I know how that feels. But I also know that I am so grateful that night that I didn't end my own life, because I wouldn't be sat here now, I wouldn't be making this video, I wouldn't have done the things that I've done this year, in the last 8 years. I wouldn't have my daughter, I wouldn't have my partner, and I wouldn't have the goals and the aspirations and the dreams that I have now. My life would have just ended at that point of absolute despair without me realising that it can get better, and it does get better, and it is worth fighting for. So please, if you feel like that over Christmas, New Year, whenever, just please speak to somebody, talk to somebody about it, and take those first steps into the new year to find the right help, because it's a really important first step. And I know I bang on about hope a lot, you know, I've done Notes of Hope, the Tree of Hope, the whatever of hope, you know, I bang on about hope, I know I do, and it's such a simple thing. But honestly, from the moment that I realised that there is hope, whatever is going on, as long as I keep hope in here, it kind of keeps me going, because there's always the hope of tomorrow, there's always the hope of next year, there's always the hope that things are going to get better tomorrow, next week, next year, because we never know what's going to happen. I didn't think that any of the things that have happened to me that have been good since that day of planning to end my own life would have happened. We just never ever know. So just keep hope, because there's always hope, because none of us know what tomorrow's going to bring, what next week's going to bring, or what the new year is going to bring. It really could be the year that things start to change for you. So please enjoy Christmas as best you can. have a very, very, very happy Christmas and a very happy New Year. And if you are struggling, please talk about it and go into the new year with, if only the goal, to speak to somebody and to start making that change of speaking out about how you feel, because if nothing else, that is a very, very good place to start. So thank you for all your support this year, and I hope you all have a very merry